I've been meaning to do a review of my prized possession in my collection, and that's this Dawn Bluth. And when I say prized possession, there's nothing outstanding about this watch, technically speaking, but there's everything outstanding about this watch because this watch is extremely special. And I shared a video 8 months ago, not a review, a love story, and I made mention of that. Now, 8 months later, I actually want to review this watch and let you guys know what the watch is like, what it's been like after 8 months, because it's still here. It's definitely not going anywhere because it's one of the nicest. This is what watch collecting is about for me. Whether you go out and source a watch and find it, or a watch itself finds you, like in the case of this particular unit, if you want to buy a watch and you want to flex, you want to show people that you've got money, this is not the watch. That makes me happy because I'm not a guy who flexes when it comes to watches. I buy watches for myself. They have to speak to me. That's my first criteria. If the watch does not speak to me on a personal level, I'm wasting my time. I'm just trying to please somebody else. So on that note, guys, let's flip the camera and let's get stuck into this review. Let's dive in. Now, 8 months later, I think that I'm pretty qualified to tell you what this watch is like, whether it's been good, bad, or indifferent. And for me personally, I did have some reservations initially when I wanted to buy this watch. As far as I know, even 8 months later, this is a one of one. There's only one of these in the world. It's a unique watch. In this colorway, in this size, in this configuration, there's only one. And that's the beauty of Dawn Bluth. They'll make something, and if someone else sees and say, yeah, I want one of those, well, then they'll make another one. It's as simple as that. Now, I do believe that this is listed on Defiant's website, but there's probably also a waiting period to get this particular configuration if you so desire. Now, this watch is not inexpensive. It was an expensive purchase, and there isn't any mind-blowing technology in this watch. It's beautifully done, handmade, the old artisan way. I love that. And if any of you guys own a Dawn Bluth, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's pretty special. Now, the movement of this watch is based on an ETA 6498 or a Unitas, and 60% of that movement is discarded. It's thrown away. Dawn Bluth starts from scratch, and they hand make and finish everything. If you took the time to look really closely and carefully, you will find some tool marks, and that's beautiful. You know, it's not CNC machined. It's not made by a robot. It's made by human hands, and every watch will be different, which again makes a watch like this extremely unique to each and every one of us. Any model that you buy will be customized to you. So the price of these watches are pretty much dictated by old school artisan watchmaking, the traditional way. That's what you pay for. But more so, it's about the journey, the acquisition, the feelings that you get from a watch like this, the before story and the after story. And this is one of the watches that, for me, it just keeps on giving. It's giving and giving and giving. Every time I put this watch on my wrist, nothing but smiles from ear to ear. Seriously, from ear to ear. But honestly, guys, it is wonderful to be able to source a watch that can minister to you in here and say, gee, I enjoyed that journey. And I'm still enjoying that journey. And I'm wearing it and I'm driving and I'm looking at this thing and I'm thinking, it's bringing back so many good memories of how it came to be on my wrist. That's more important to me than status, than getting a particular watch that you can show off to people. I don't show off. I've got nothing to show. It's what you see is what you get. Simple. It did take me about 7 days to pull the trigger on this watch. I was in Noosa for 7 days. It took me 7 days because looking at this watch at 42 mil, I was so hesitant thinking it's too big for the wrist. And yet I tried on a 40 mil Dawn Bluth with a different dial. I tried on a 38 mil Dawn Bluth and I didn't like them. They didn't suit my wrist. I've got an 18 centimeter wrist. It seems to, this particular size fits perfectly. It's got the right amount of wrist presence. The other ones looked a little bit small. They sort of got lost. Now, it's not all been roses, guys. There are room for improvements that I found. In every watch that we buy, there's always a little technicality, something that bugs us, something that we think, you know what, they could have done this better. The leather strap that does come with the watch is wonderful. It's got fantastic bolstering. It's beautiful to the feel. It's of extremely high quality. However, in my opinion, it does need quick release spring bars. So for me, I'm a guy who changes straps religiously, weekly, daily. I just love putting on different straps on a watch. That's how I roll. And I think we all know that it keeps you fresh, it keeps the hobby fresh, the watch box looking great, and just keeps us interested. So if this had quick release spring bars, it just would have made life a lot easier because I like wearing it on the leather. However, every time you need to go grab your spring bar tool, remove it, all the rest, it's just a step that wasn't necessary in today's day and age, in my opinion. Next room for improvement, which I honestly thought when I purchased the watch was going to be a room for improvement down the road, it's not. Because 8 months later, it hasn't turned out to be a room for improvement for me because it's been perfect. And that's the case shape at the bottom of this watch. It's flat. Now, there's no chamfer, there's no beveling or anything to make it sort of sit easily on the wrist. It's flat. And being a 42mm watch, I thought, oh, gee, that's going to become a hindrance several months down the track, or long hours of wearing a watch. It's not going to be good. And mine has worn perfect. So something that I thought was going to be a potential gripe is not. It's worked out, but I'm sharing it with you guys so you're aware. A watch with a predominantly slab-sided case shape can create problems on certain wrist sizes. So bear that in mind. Another area which I think Dornbluth should be addressing regarding this watch is water resistance. They really should bump it up a little bit just to suit more lifestyles of people, because a lot of us do go close to water activities. And I'm not talking about putting a screw down crown or anything like that. This is a manual wind watch. I'm talking about just bump it up to 100 meters. I'm sure they're capable of doing that. So that's something that they should be addressing, because then the watch will be more usable in real world situations. And that's pretty much it regarding room for improvement for the watch, because there's some standouts, there's some technical standouts on this watch which I think are just sublime. It's a good word for this watch, because listen to this. The winding experience on this crown is second to none. I don't know if you can hear this. That is really nice. Not only is it audibly nice, but it's visually nice if you look at the back, but also it feels great. It's perfect. It's engineered beautifully. And if you've got a Dornbluth, you know what I'm talking about. Next standout for me is that dial. It is a ceramic dial, but the legibility, the feedback you're getting, it's just beautifully classically done. You can't look at this watch enough and get bored of it. It's as simple as that. 8 months later, I'm still enjoying its dial immensely, and on so many straps. At the moment, I've got it on a rubber strap. This is an FKM rubber from a micro brand called Horizon. I borrowed one of their straps and it seems to work perfect. This particular dial and color configuration really works well. I've had so many Artem straps on this watch. I've also mixed it up with leather straps, the original leather that came with it, and obviously different rubber straps. So the area of experimentation with different straps is far from over. I'm going to be doing that for the rest of this watch's life. But I tell you what, the enjoyment of this, it just surprises me every day. It really does. And lastly, as an overall package, even looking at the box that this watch came in, I'm not into parcels or boxes. I don't care. It's more about the watch. But the watch box itself is made by a family friend of Dornbluth's. It's all custom, handmade. It's wonderful to be able to display the watch in there and just make that experience a little bit more special. And you know what? If you've only got one watch and this is the watch you buy, why not? That's the place for it to be. In that particular watch box, it looks the business. One of the big pluses of this watch is that when you go out and you wear it on your wrist, no one, apart from people like you and us, people in the know, majority of people don't know you got an expensive watch on your wrist. I think that's really important, especially for me where, like I said, I don't want to show off. I'm not interested in showing off. And it's not about the monetary value, but you go in certain situations where you might be wearing an expensive watch that people recognize instantly and you just become a target. With this, you can pretty much go under the radar. And to me, that's pretty important. I've worn it everywhere. No problem. It's been stealth. It's colorful, but it doesn't look like anything special to people that don't know. Another standout and huge surprise for me on this watch has been that lume. You got super luminova in more than copious amounts for a watch of this style. This has been an absolute lovely visual delight for me, for my eyes, for the heart. It really does pull at the heartstrings because of the backstory, and it honestly makes the journey worthwhile when a watch can do to you what this watch does to me. I can't say it any clearer than that. So thanks for watching, guys. Enjoy your holidays and your break. Be safe on the roads when you're driving and enjoy the festivities, and we'll see you all in the next one.